gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Outer Lagos post-commentary. They're driving some Porsches. I am very attractive, and with me, as always, is the man who's been accused of racketeering in more places than there are places.
That is not true. I've racketeered in more places than actually exist. That's the key. They haven't always caught me.
I didn't say charged. They
haven't even gotten to the accusation in some of those places. I've snowed them over so good that I don't even have accusations. There's not even a note in my file in Outer Mongolia, for example.
Damn.
We are here for the second to final round of the ESR Tugas eSRA, aka Esports Racing Argentina, series with the Porsche GT3 Cup cars. We're at Interlagos, fairly new circuit to race room. This is actually the first time I've seen it, which makes this very, very cool for me. We'll be finishing up at Assen next Saturday. That is the season finale. And the championship will be decided then and everything, although I could be mistaken. I think Tobias Thierolf has this lined up. I'm just saying. He's a ways ahead. And he is in second place today on the grid behind Sambala Steve at the moment as Magic Cash Chuck loses the rear end.
And he has bribed the judges.
So we do have Sambala Steve starting on pole from Tobias Thierolf, Bertrand Barrier, Andrew D, Max Simmons, Henrik Andreasen, Magic Cash Chuck, Javier Vega, Rene Ermer, James Butler, Martin Evans, Laissez Passer, and John Barker. We're missing somebody because the results file says that there are 14 cars. So somebody did not get a lap time. And we'll find out who that is at the start of the race. We got, I believe, a warm-up here to kill some time for. So, I don't know, Byron, is there anything interesting and exciting happening in your life right now?
I heard Ted Cruz got pegged in the head with a full can of beer today.
That's cool. Byron's internet is fixed. That's big news.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's been readjusted to be functional. Been having a lot of dropouts in the last, 4 or 5 months. And, the actual company themselves called me up going, is your internet fucked up? I'm like, yeah, a little. Because our end, it's really messed up. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to send some techs out. All right, you do that. And so, yeah, it's apparently half of my internet was just... That man headbutted the wall.
Steve, a little bit of a problem coming out of the pit lane
there. So, yeah, I've got upgraded, reaffirmed internet. With the possibility of upgrading to fiber here in the next while.
Well, that is lovely and great. And all things that are good.
Indeed. I'll be able to download the whole internet.
My tech news is not nearly as cool. I spent a chunk of today just building a new TV stand. So I had my roommates left behind a 32-inch TV when they left. And I'm not using it for anything right now, so it's going to replace one of the small monitors to my left-hand side here. They just didn't leave me a stand for it, so that was kind of the problem is So, anyways, I splurged, got a $30 stand. It's ready to go. I'll be putting it up tomorrow, so it'll be there for the sim the Twitch stream that I planned for tomorrow.
Woohoo! So you can stare at chat instead of the incoming pitches.
I'm a little bit worried that it's going to be too low. Okay, so the stand showed up and I got it all built and I got the TV mounted to it and everything. And I'm like, this is way long. This is way shorter than I thought it was going to be. So, it'll do. I'll make it work. Maybe a box under it'll do the trick.
Didn't they already do a lot of practice on this? What's with the 5-minute intro?
Well, they always put the 5-minute warm-up in there to allow anyone to hit the bathroom or get a beverage refill. And also to go out and, make sure that you have the right amount of fuel. Because a lot of the time... So what happens is in qualifying, usually you run pretty low fuel. You run 3-5 laps of fuel in the car. And then when it gets to race time, what will happen sometimes when we don't have a warm-up section is somebody will leave their qualifying fuel in there and then like 3 laps into the race have to pull off into the pits and get fuel because they don't have enough to get to the end. And I think the warm-up phase is kind of to allow them to make any last-minute adjustments and get ready for the race.
That sounds like y'all just weren't prepared for and did not come with like a triple camelback.
I personally like it because my back tends to get really unhappy with me while we're doing sim racing. So what I'll do during the warm-up is my car will just stay in the pits. But what I'm doing is like doing stretches off on the side of the track, getting ready for the legs and my butt and my back to handle the race that is coming up. But I'm also old.
Maybe you should just do it laying down. Just get yourself one of them loungers and sprawl out and.
Oh, that'd be worse. No, that would be a immensely not great position to race from. Yeah, oh Lord.
Be like the dude from South Park who slumped over just clicking the mouse, eating some chips.
No, thank you.
You were no fun at all.
I am all the fun, sir. You're the one who hangs around with me all the time.
You never take me out war criming anymore. You don't send flowers.
I mean, we're wanted in too many countries to handle that anymore.
True.
Josiah Jerome is our guy who's starting at the back of the pack there, Byron. So,
Ha-cha-cha.
we got the Tropical Thunder in the house. We got the base of all base. Apparently there's something in the works for a Sunday series that might be coming from Jeremy Reeder, and the other person I was given here is Josh. I'm assuming that's Josh McLaughlin, but I could be mistaken. We do have other Joshes.
We're gonna run Ford F-150s around reverse Macau.
Anything to do with reverse Macau, I am not a fan. I am not down. All right, grid forming up here for Interlagos, home of the Brazilian Grand Prix, home of Is That Glock, home of, well, really a lot of stuff. The complete curse that is Rubens Barrichello around this track. So Rubens Barrichello, obviously a Brazilian driver, born not far from this circuit, something like 3 miles from this circuit is where he's born. And he was on the verge of winning this race in Formula One like 6 times. Only for the car to break. It was quite painful to watch. Actually, this is where the Formula One is heading for the next round of the championship next weekend. It'll be the Brazilian Grand Prix. Assuming the travel conditions and the political unrest in the country do not prevent it. Anyways, here we go. 14 Porsches around here for 90 minutes with a pit stop. I assume there's a pit stop anyways. And we are off. If they can do 90 minutes on one tank of fuel, it would surprise me a little bit. Side-by-side action with Andrew D. as well as Max Simmons. Simmons got a good start. He's up into 3rd place. Behind Sambal Steve and Tobias Thierolf. Somebody's facing the wrong direction. That is James Boutelier. Slip into the back of the pack. Take a look at Bertrand Barrier, who did not get a good start. He got squeezed back into 6th place behind Javier Vega, who got a great start. And he's also behind Andrew D. Riding off the top 10, we got Andreas and Edmonds, Passe, and Irmer. Kaschuk with a bad start. Josiah Jerome is up to 12th place ahead of John Barker and Jamie Muller.
I noticed that the UK folks just can't deal with that heat.
Well,
they're obviously melting from the Brazilian weather and also being pelted with slots.
There are a number of British drivers who have a really good record on this track, though. David Coulthard comes to mind. as well as Lewis Hamilton. Oh, Bertrand Barrier under attack from Henrik Andreasen. Closes the door for now, but that was a bold move as one of the Castrol cars has a spin, and that's John Barker going to the back of the pack. So Barrier still 6th for now, but Andreasen is hungry.
You should have had some corn dogs in the pit. They had like 17 hours.
They had like 5 minutes.
It's enough time to eat
It
like
is.
4 corn dogs.
You're not mistaken. I'm just correcting you on the amount of time. Andrew D has gotten past Max Simmons in the Intel car. Intel v FedEx. Battle for 3rd place and top ESR honors. They need to make sun. They need to make sun out of this though, because they got Javier Vega, who did not qualify very well, kind of as a blocker for them in that white, green, and gray car. So they need to make use of the fact that he's holding up Barrier and Andreasen, who are probably faster drivers, and try and get a gap. But I think they're fighting a little bit too much amongst themselves, and they're also losing touch with Sambala Steve out front.
Good old Sambuca Steve.
Barrier getting a little out of shape there. Side by side in the background with Henrik Andreasen. Henrik might be able to get it here, but he's going to have to go around the outside at turn 1. Not impossible, but obviously difficult. Let's see. We're on board. And nope. It is Barrier nudging ahead once again. Magic Kashchuk looking a little rough in the background as he fights with Martin Edmonds over 10th place. Rene Ermer on the attack against Laissez Passer, trying to take 8th place.
Might I recommend 1st place?
Well, I'm sure everyone would like to have that, but right now that is Sambala Steve 3 seconds up the road now. He is burning rubber and getting away from the back. And that is John Barker having another spin. John Barker's had a rough time with these Porsches. I think I've said the term John Barker is facing the wrong way or recovering from spin a lot in this series. And that is a testament to just how difficult these cars are to drive at sometimes, because John Barker is a quality driver.
Might I recommend that they just file down them weird googly eyes on the front?
I don't think that would help at all.
I think it would help tremendously.
I don't think it would help at all, but I mean, I could be wrong. Andrew D. Looking aggressive in body language there with the car. But not close enough, I think, to trouble Tobias Thierolf yet. Martin Edmonds has taken 10th place back from Magic Kashchuk. Bertrand Barrier looking to the inside of Javier Vega, but nothing doing.
I believe it's time that they just put the big old plow in the front and start booting people off the track.
A little bit further back, there was some side-by-side action going on, I think, between Ermer and Passe. And that is Martin Edmonds drifting out wide and into the runoff. We did have comments from Martin that he really doesn't like this track, so we might be seeing a lot of that.
There's subtle hints like him changing his name on Discord to Martin I Hate Interlagos.
Indeed. So I think it's probably fairly safe to say that we are anticipating not the greatest of result from him, but we'll see. Could be just Martin having like a really high expectation for himself. He's done very, very well in this series. Currently has taken 3 podiums. Was on the podium at Watkins Glen, as well as both races at Mid-Ohio that we just did. And, you know, maybe that's all it is. But right now, it is the debuting Sem Balesti, 3.7 seconds ahead of championship leader Tobias Thierolf, the winner of Watkins Glen, Oschersleben, and one of the races at Portimao, as well as one of the races at Mid-Ohio. Let me put it this way. This season has been so strong for Tobias Thierolf that right now, so you get to drop your lowest score in this series. He's dropping a win right now. He's dropping his Mid-Ohio results where he finished first and DNF'd. So that's how strong it's been. As Max Simmons gets relegated there 2 spots behind both Javier Vega and Bertrand Barrier. And that is a John Barker looking a little bit rough there in the Castrol Porsche. He's going to go in the pits and try and get that fixed. Can't blame him. 82 minutes with a car that looks like that would not be a fun time and not really a worthwhile use of your time. So get that fixed and try and get out there and do good. Your favorite Formula 3 driver, by the way, Byron, is might be getting a Formula 2 seat next season.
Did it take them?
No, Nazir Assman.
You need Assman and Bot Ass to be on the same team.
Bertrand Barrier holding off Max Simmons there as they go side by side through the early going of the lap. Yeah, Nazir Assman is got a test drive for Formula 2, so he might be moving up in the world.
I hear Dan Tictum sweeping up soggy French fries off of a pier.
Probably. His racing career is largely not going very well.
I just imagine him living under said pier and fighting the seagulls for crumbs. Fuck Dan Tictum.
Byron knows very little about Formula 1 racing. He does know. Fuck Dan Tictum.
www.fuckdantictum.com.
And we're slowly turning you into a fan of George Russell, but that's really just because of Discord, too.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, Rocket Powered Mohawk isn't hurting.
That's true. He seems like George Russell. Although sometimes he's very anti-George Russell. So I think actually Rocket Power Mohawk Man, from watching his videos, I don't know if I can really tell what drivers he's a fan of. He seems to be able to. He seems willing to crap on them all, which I appreciate.
I think it's just the fact that he thinks that they fired the wrong driver and they should have kept Bot Ass and perhaps also George Russell.
I mean, I cannot second the sentiment, but I appreciate the humor. Andrew D and Tobias Thierolf getting a little bit of separation from Javier Vega and Bertrand Barrier, who are bringing the boarding axes out here in a side-by-side fight. Max Simmons also there, as well as Henrik Andresen. Oh, here we go, side-by-side again. And I think Barrier is through this time because he's got the inside, then the outside. But I think he's got this. No, maybe not. Vega fighting back. Javier Vega might hang on here. He does not look stable, and there we go. That car giving a little bit of a wiggle, and Max Simmons might also go through here. And indeed, the FedEx car will go through, and that relegates Vega back to 6th place. At least for now. He's going for it again, though, and it looks like he might get 5th place back. Javier Vega, I tip my hat to you, sir. It is clear that that car is not comfortable to drive. He's had a couple of wiggles, but he is putting up a hell of a fight.
Step him in the neck. just tear off your spoiler and just wang somebody right in the
I think most of
windshield.
the critique of Formula One drivers right now is the idea that Nico Hulkenberg might be back on the grid next season, replacing Mick Schumacher. People seem to be not a fan.
I vote that everybody change the last name to Schumacher.
That would get very confusing.
Well, I'm also a fan of confusion.
Fair enough. I'm not, though. I have to do, like, commentary and stuff. That's gonna hurt.
Lot
That's
of
gonna hurt.
confusion.
Ah, I love that song.
It's the best song.
Both the Disturb and the Genesis version. Tobias Thierolf making a mistake, and Andrew D takes second place.
I was actually singing the, I can't remember if it's the Four Tops or the Temptations. I think it's Temptations. Their version is best version because it's a totally different song.
I remember Land of Confusion is the song that got me into listening to Genesis. So.
And now you are having surgery to transform yourself into
Max
young
Simmons with a
Phil
late
Collins.
lunge there. And Henrik Andreasen may have gotten way too aggressive there.
That looked like a mess. But it looked like a mess of somebody's design. Probably George Russell.
Yeah, that looked a little bit suspect to me. Rene Ermer is the man who is going to benefit off that up into his 7th place, though. Andreasen down to 8th, Vega down to 11th. So a recap of the standings here. 9 laps in. Sambal Steve leads by 6.1 seconds over Andrew D and Tobias Thierolf, who you're looking at right now. Bertrand Barrier in 4th place ahead of Max Simmons. Laissez-Passer up to 6th. Rene Ermer to 7th. Henrik Andreasen's 8th. Magic Kazchuk and Josiah Jerome are in the top 10. We then have Javier Vega, Martin Edmonds, and we may have lost John Barker and James Butler. No, I don't think we are. That gap is still moving. So we saw Barker in the pits earlier. I do wonder if maybe James Butler is out. I'm not sure. I will reference the log file here in hopefully a manner that allows me to not get spoiled.
Spoiler alert, Martin totally wins.
We have lost James Butler. Can confirm.
No! But he was buttling along.
He showed is only completing 5 laps of this race, so he is out. Rene Ermer on the attack against Laissez-Passer. And he's got Andreasen on his tail. Of course, going back to my monitor situation, this leads to the question, what do I do with the small monitor that I'm replacing?
Attach it higher up on the system.
I don't think I need another monitor. That's why this one's getting replaced, as opposed to just adding another monitor to the setup here. I'm thinking I can maybe
grab some leather straps and use it as a face mask.
It's hooked up to an arm mount as Rene Ermer goes side by side here. We'll let that kind of resolve itself, as well as Josiah Jerome going side by side with Magic Kazchuk. And I think Kazchuk will hang on to that. And I think so will Passer. Let's find out here. Yeah. As we hop on board with Henrik Andreasen. I'm thinking about maybe mounting it to my bedside table. And I can use it along with it. Henrik Andreasen going down the inside and into 7th place. Moving back up through the world, but might be facing a penalty for that contact with Javier Vega. As that has been noted by the stewards. One of the Castrol cars off the track again there. I assume probably John Barker. He's having a rough day.
You could assume that.
Well, there's only 2 Castrol cars. The other one is Tobias Thierolf, so I think it's beyond assumption at this point. Henrik Andreasen going side by side with Laissez Passer. Passer will have the inside line here for this turn. And the camber decides to go to the battle for second place at a really awkward time. I found a new person who's doing reactions to The Expanse and has just gotten to. The next episode will be the I Am That Guy episode, so I'm looking forward to that.
Very nice.
They are a big fan of Mr. Amos. Big fan.
Who isn't?
I'm sure there's somebody. They're wrong, but I'm sure they exist.
Correct.
Oh, a couple up track there. We're getting a slowdown penalty for continuing to abuse track limits. Andreasen now clear of Passer and into 6th place. Magic Kazchuk going around the outside of everybody, it seems. Gets past Rene Ermer, but not... Oh, contact with Ermer! And also possibly with Josiah Jerome there. That has also been noted by the stewards for review later on.
Snitch.
I mean, it's my job. It's not being a snitch when it's your job. I am the assistant to the steward. I make the notes.
I would like to report Tobias Thierolf of being guilty of inappropriate use of the colors of the Mexican flag for his livery.
Do you not like the Castrol livery? It's very classic.
That's fine. I don't really have any problem with it at all. A little greasy, but it's fine.
That is the colors that Castrol won or Honda won the Superbike World title. Colin Edwards a number of years ago. Fantastic battle between Colin Edwards, aka the Texas Tornado, against Pier Francesco Chili, Troy Corser, Nori Haga, and Akira Yanagawa. Martin Edmonds on the tail of Vega, and behind him is Kazchuk and Ermer. I was watching WWE SmackDown earlier today. Just had it on in the background.
Gross.
R-Truth comes out, and I'm like, that man is 50. Someone bottle his genetics because we require them for
Pretty Ricky. Pretty Ricky OP.
Yeah.
I've never really been a fan of R-Truth, aka Ron Killings, but he does something for people. I don't really get it, but there you go.
I mean, he's a competent wrestler who has some presence on the mic, and and again is 50 years old, and you wouldn't freaking realize it.
Yeah, no, if there was something wrong with what he was doing, or I had anything specific to say, I'd fucking say it. Just for whatever reason, his level of charisma or his style of charisma does not match.
If I recall correctly, you did enjoy his feud with Goldust.
Yeah, but they also, anybody with Goldust is going to be awesome.
Largely true. Depends how motivated Goldust is. There were some periods there of Goldust that were not so good.
It's not his fault.
I think it kind of is his fault, and he has also admitted that it was his fault a lot of the time.
It was all Vince McMahon's doing, that scrub.
But his redux of his Booker T storyline, basically with R-Truth, was very good.
Excellent.
Josiah Jerome started last, up to 8th place. Looking down the inside of Laissez-Passer. We've also lost John Barker in the meantime, so he is out. And that is 7th place for Josiah. Say trying to get back at Josiah Jerome, but I think the Tropical Storm will retain that position. Bertrand Barrier now up on Tobias Thierolf, looking for that podium. And kind of an uneventful pass there with the Samsung livery car. In the meantime, Laissez-Passer gets by Josiah Jerome, so both Samsung cars not getting a position there. They're up to 3rd and 7th.
Oh no! I just found out that Katsuya Kitamura died.
Oh no.
Trying to figure out. There's no real news on how. He apparently felt ill, called an ambulance, his condition worsened, and then he died.
That is not good at all. That's
no
horrifying.
idea. That man was built like a brick shithouse. 6 foot tall, 285 pounds of fucking muscle.
Yep.
Well, I had high hopes for him, and then he had the neck injury, didn't he?
Neck got screwed up, and it really derailed an incredibly promising wrestling career.
God dang.
On the bright side, it did allow for, I don't remember his name now, what his name was, but he's Great O'Karn now, who really picked up a lot of the leftover opportunities, I guess I would say.
Yeah. Oka. Apparently Kitamura also had a scooter accident where he hurt his leg. Oh. Well, that's no good at all. I don't like it. Somebody on the track do something to entertain me.
Indeed. There's a lot of potential here. Martin Evans is leading a 3-way fight with Irmer and with Javier Vega. You've got this battle here between Josiah Jerome and Laissez-Passer. Really the only guys that are kind of on their own right now. Sambal Steve out in the lead. He's 9 seconds out in front. And then there's a little bit of a kind of a no man's land there for Max Simmons and Henrik Andreasen. That's really about it. Josiah Jerome looking for a way through. Still trying to badger Doug into doing my Suzuki gun gets destroyed angle, which he's not giving a nod to me yet.
What is that?
I just have the idea of a scene in my head where you've got the voice of Wade Barrett in the night talking about talking about all the great things that Minoru Suzuki's done, and then just going, "But Minoru-san, I've got some bad news." At which point everyone turns on Suzuki.
Well, I mean, it's a good moment, but what else have you got?
Well, you can just end up with Barrett gun. I just view it as a way to for Suzuki to retire and go
Barrett
off
gun.
Into...
Fucking, do you understand that a Barrett?
I'm aware.
That's
Part of why I like this idea.
Fair enough. Wasn't sure that you were sure, but now we're sure.
There's the pun, and there's just the fact that I think like Barrett Gunn is a stable name, like really big guy.
But
I just think if there's any Gaijin wrestler who could replace Minoru Suzuki, it's Wade Barrett.
What about Gangrel?
For one, I think Gangrel is actually older than Minoru.
I think so, yeah.
Like, that wouldn't really help.
Older, never been in shape.
Like the idea here is like, you know, for Suzuki to just like go and retire or get into like the Nagata slash Kojima stage of his career where he's like just part-time.
Oh, okay. So I'm falling down this rabbit hole of wrestlers. Do you remember Sarah Lee?
I do. She died. She passed away.
Yeah. Just earlier last month. Like 1 month ago. Apparently she was only 30, but she'd had 3 kids with Wesley Blake, who I don't know.
Do you remember the Forbidden Sons stable in NXT?
No.
With Cutler and Gunner? Those guys. He was the third guy in that stable.
Okay.
He was also tag team partners with Murphy for a time.
Lord Jesus Murphy. Oh, and I'd forgot that Scott Hall died.
Yes.
Damn it. Died the day after my mom's
well,
birthday.
it got worse because, of course, Kevin Nash's son has now died.
Oh, right.
So it's been a dark year for Kevin Nash as Max Simmons recovers from spin there.
And Antonio Inoki.
Yes.
The God.
And, of course, we lost Brody Lee not that long ago.
Correct. A couple of years ago, but
Not that long ago.
still not great. Like, was it 2 years ago, I
2
think?
or 3? Probably two. It was towards the end of the COVID seriousness.
Did he die from COVID? Or heart failure?
COVID was part of it. He had COVID, but
Okay.
the cause of death was something else. But obviously, most
That is
people
fair.
do not die of COVID. They die of COVID complications.
Correct. Most notably stupidity, but well, some bad luck in there too.
It was also the 19-year anniversary of Crash Holly's death. I think 2 days ago.
Oh God, has it
been
been
that
that long? God damn.
I feel old now. I feel old.
Holy
Hendrik Andreasen
God,
going
Jesus.
side by side
This
with
got
Max
morbid
Simmons.
really quick, and I'm blaming you.
I mean, you can blame me all you want. It's not gonna make it true.
Accurate. Unwantedly accurate.
I deliver the truth to your doorstep, Sarah. What you do with it is up to you.
Did you know the giraffe has the same amount of vertebrae in its neck that you...
Yes, we're back to giraffe facts.
I haven't pulled that one out in a while.
Indeed. Hendrik Andreasen still on the tail of Max Simmons. We could go through our shark facts. Remember that one day that we were looking up like human deaths by shark attack and found some like sharks that have some weird body counts.
Yeah. There's some that like just don't go anywhere near people, and some that you should never go anywhere close to. Bull sharks, tiger sharks.
Hendrik Andreasen going side by side with Max Simmons, battle for 5th place. All of this is from that spin that we saw from Simmons. He was on his own, so we assume that was a self-induced problem. But he hangs on to 5th place for the time being.
Very possible.
Bertrand Barrier up in 3rd place. Has Barrier been on the podium this season? Yes, he has. He took 2nd places at both Oschersleben and Portimao. So this would be his 3rd trip to the podium. Would it be Andrew D's first podium? I guess that's the one of the things we should talk about at this point. It would be Andrew D's first podium. His best result this season being a 6th place at Watkins Glen and a 6th place at Portimao. Ironically, both races he got penalties in. So here's something that doesn't happen. Oh, Josiah Jerome!
5
and
minutes.
laissez-passer ending up in a spin. They will drop out of the top 10, replaced by Magic Chuck and Javier Vega. Martin Edmonds, by the way, 7th place right now.
That's better than 17th place.
But way more possible than 17th place in a 14-car race. Max Simmons still under pressure from Henrik Andreasen. They go side by side. And the FedEx car remains ahead for the time being. Up in the draft, here comes Andreasen. Can he get the job done? Not this time. Does feel like he's been the faster car here today. Does feel like he's a guy who, if he had not been caught up in a couple of accidents, would be higher up in the pecking order right now, probably in the top 5. But running in 6th at the moment. Not the only guy who's had a little bit of bad luck today. Javier Vegas had some bad luck today as well. Josiah Jerome as well. Jerome has dropped way behind, by the way. He's like 50 plus seconds behind laissez-passer. So I wonder if he made a pit stop.
Well, you can wonder in one hand and pit stop in the other.
Henrik Andreasen still on the tail of Max Simmons. Battle for 5th place. See if he can get past.
You can do it.
I mean, there is nothing physically stopping him, but we'll figure out if he can get the job done here. He's plenty of time. We have 50 plus minutes to go in this race. 55 minutes to go. There is a lot of time for this to all shake out, and outside of Josiah Jerome, everybody is still in the hunt for the win here. Josiah's a little bit out of it right now, being 53 seconds off the pack, but otherwise, things can still happen here, although Sambala Steve has built a 12-second lead. Bertrand Barrier looking for 2nd place against Andrew D.
Back to the wrestling. Apparently, Oka, a.k.a. the Great Okan, was given a letter of appreciation by the Kawasaki City Police after saving a teenage girl who had been grabbed by a drunk man at some kind of a train station, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Proving
So,
that
don't fuck around in
proving
Japan.
that pro wrestlers can also be good, as well as staying up really late and getting McGriddles from Japanese McDonald's.
Speaking of which, you didn't tell me Roppongi Vice was back.
They are.
This was
They
something
do
I
a
should
largely
have been
part-time
informed
gig
of.
right now, but because Rocky is still not wrestling a ton.
And yes.
Well, it's kind of weird also because
Roppongi
like
Vice?
Trent Barretta is doing Roppongi Vice and Best Friends right now.
That would be, well, why can't they be Roppongi 3K?
I don't know if Chucky Taylor is Roppongi.
I would hazard a guess that he could probably hang.
They also have a 3-man unit with fresh. Oh, Henrik Andreasen spins it. Trying to get. Whoa, that is a big backup. They've also got a 3rd man with Best Friends because they work with Orange Cassidy sometimes.
Very nice.
Orange Cassidy, All Atlantic champion.
What about partial Atlantic champion?
Defended his title recently against Ray Phoenix and Luchasaurus.
Good old Luchasaurus.
And in fact, he will be defending his title next against my boy, Shibata.
Shikaka.
One of the podcasts I listen to is like, this is exactly the type of match you put Shibata in with, concerns about his brain health, because there is no safer match than freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. Henrik Andreasen in the pits, and Magic Cash Chuck also taking the opportunity to get his minute this up. I can picture it now, Shibata selling the vicious kicks of Orange Cassidy.
It's gonna be like a no-sell fest, leading to frustration.
There you go. There's your feel good. Shibata wrestling again. That's the feel good.
Yeah. God, that was the grossest sound ever. Not to turn it dark all over again, but goddamn. If anybody not familiar, try and Google Katsunori Shibata takes a knee to the head. Something.
It was a headbutt. That was the problem.
Was it? Oh, right, it was a
headbutted Okada.
I can't remember. Yeah, he delivered the headbutt, and then his brain went away. Anybody's all like, wrestling's fake, meh, meh, meh. Eat a dick, watch that clip. Listen to the sound it makes. You will be horrified.
Reminds me, there's a whole thing on Twitter right now. Basically, MMA fans who are delusional saying, MMA is not rooted in pro wrestling. Pro wrestling did not help create MMA. And people who actually know what they're talking about going, yes, it did. Almost the entire business model of MMA is pro wrestling.
Lol, 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 lol. MMA started because some pro wrestling dudes are like, can we have stiffer matches? How stiff can we make these matches? Well, I mean, at some point, we just stopped calling the finish.
Yep, that led to Pancrase, Rings, Pride. UFC even is still rooted in the North American style pro wrestling as well. Not to mention the literal involvement of Ken Shamrock, Dan Severn, and so on.
Yep. And the finest fighting organization to ever exist, ZST.
Zesty Boys.
Indeed, the zestiness is real.
Trambarrier still on the tail of Andrew D. I forgot that there was a pit stop we worked in here. I assumed that there was. 90-minute race without a pit stop, kind of unlikely. So everybody still does have to make a pit stop except for Magic Cash Chuck. That is a variable to ponder. We might have lost Henrik Andreasen. Let me again see if I can look at the results here without spoiling myself.
I believe it was Orange Cassidy in the library with Candlestick.
Can confirm, we have lost Henrik Andreasen. He is shown as completing only 22 laps. And we are on lap 26. Trambarrier, still on the tail of Andrew D. We are approaching half distance, so these guys should be thinking about pit stops in the very, very near future. I don't know what the tire situation is with these cars. They might be a case of like the tires holding up very, very well. But if there is a tire swap involved here, you'd want to do it around halfway. Especially if you're someone like Bertrand Barrier, you get out and you try to undercut Andrew D here as Javier Vega has a bit of an off. They are coming up to Josiah Jerome to lap him. I had thought Josiah had pitted, and if he did it poorly because he did it outside of the pit window. And as a result, will have to pit a second time. Has really found himself very out of the flow. He's ahead of Magic Kashchuk right now, but Kashchuk has pitted. You can see him in the background in the yellow and black car. And as a result, he is effectively ahead of Josiah. He is good to go to the end of the race. Probably won't overtake anybody else except for Josiah when the pit stops come into play, but we'll see.
Just fill the tank with bacon grease and keep on going.
Rene Ermer battling with Martin Edmonds over 6th place. Race Union car versus the Porsche Motorsport colors. A lot of good battles going on here. Looks like Barrier might be in the pit lane as he is dropping through the order. So it looks like he is going to try to undercut Andrew D. We'll see if that works out.
That would be delightful.
Max Simmons, of course, king of the overcut, still out there, and Martin Edmonds draws into the pits as well. Are your BC Lions going to have what it takes to take out the Bombers there in the West Final by laissez-passer?
Well, I figure we probably just win it all in one shot. We'll just take the BC Lions, get the Blue Bombers, and the other 3 teams will just beat you, everybody. We'll stake title in one game.
Interesting concept.
We don't care who you are. We're just gonna roll on down there and we're gonna tackle with the thing and ball out. Right?
That was very Letterkenny hockey talk of you.
Yep. Martino Edmond, he come around the corner and it's spicy meatball.
Rejoins from his pit stop. Passe also getting his done, as well as Barrier. They join Kashchuk, although Kashchuk ends up ahead of Passe, so it looks like a pit stop here takes a pretty long while, actually. As I was saying, I didn't think Kashchuk would overtake anybody but Josiah out of the pits, but he has. Coming out ahead of Passe and coming very, very close, actually, oh no, damn it, who is that in the Castrol car? It would be Tobias Thiel. Okay, he's a lap up. Never mind. But did end up ahead of Passe, which I didn't think would be the case. Rene Ermer in the pits, as well as Javier Vega. I was going to say, it looks like Andrew D is as well, but we get confirmation there. His pit stop is served. And we'll see if he comes out ahead of Barrier. He does not. He undercut, winning out on that one, but he will have the slightly younger tires down the stretch. those who are unaware of the undercut philosophy, you come into the pits earlier than your opponent, and you get to have at least a lap, if not more, of fully heated up prime tires. And the idea is that the gap that you will create from that lap time will be sufficient to get you out ahead of them. As Josiah Jerome has a little bit of a moment there as he enters the pit lane.
It's like ordering pizza off the app on your phone before you get home. So when you get home, pizza's already there.
Kind of. Whereas the overcut allows you to have fresher tires towards the end, because of course you're changing up your tires after the opponent. So that's what, intentional or not, that's what D is like. As we still await Tobias Thierolf, Sambala Steve, and Max Simmons to make their pit stop. And if I were a betting man, Max Simmons probably going to be the last of that. Tobias Thierolf navigating his way into the pit lane. Sambala Steve also in there. So my prediction has come true. The last one to pit will be Max Simmons.
Dun dun dun. Maximize the time on track, Simmons.
And he's going to go for the lap as he takes the lead. So good. We'll do a full rundown of the 11 remaining cars here once the pit stops are all taken care of. Sambala Steve rejoining, dropping from the lead to second place. But that'll be temporary, I think. He was quite a ways ahead. Is Thierolf going to beat Andrew D out of the pits? Looks like he is. So Andrew D has kind of not gotten his way with these pit stops. Was in second place, now runs in fifth. Effectively fourth, because I think he'll still get Simmons when Simmons comes in the pits. But he's lost out to Barrier and to Tobias Thierolf. And in Thierolf's case, he'll even have the fresher tires.
And also a fresh pizza that he ordered to be delivered to the pits.
Rene Armour on the tail of Magic Kazchuk. Battle for 7th place. Kazchuk's kind of come through the field here a little bit. He's got the oldest tires of the bunch, though, as he pitted first. See how that goes. Kazchuk has had actually a pretty good season. He DNF'd the opening round at Oschersleben, but then picked up 8th place at Watkins Glen, 7th at Portimao, 9th at Portimao in the second race. And then at Nordschleife, he picked up a 9th again and had a amazing comeback race in Mid-Ohio last time out. He finished 10th in race 1 and then picked up 5th in race 2. It was fantastic and his best result of the season.
Also, he was awarded best in.
But it's good to see him just like finishing races, because Magic's problem historically has been technical failures and damage-related DNFs. So to have finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 races straight, that is in itself pretty big. Max Simmons has come in and rejoined in 5th place. So the rundown is Sambal Steve leading the way by 11 seconds. That gap has closed, notably, from him to Bertrand Barrier. Tobias Thierolf in third. You see him there in the Castrol car. Andrew D in fourth place in the Intel car. They're battling out for that podium. Max Simmons in fifth. Martin Edmonds in sixth. Magic Kashchuk, Rene Ermer, Laissez Passer, Javier Vega, and Josiah Jerome are still running, I believe. Let me see if I can confirm that Josiah is still going. Yes, he is. And we have lost Henrik Andreasen, John Barker, and James Butler. Slow down penalty for Josiah Jerome. You've been fined 2 credits for violation of the verbal moral code.
Correct.
Such an underrated film.
In the future, all things will be Taco Bell.
Yes. Taco Bell is the only restaurant to survive the franchise wars. Apparently, in certain dub versions, it's not Taco Bell, but Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Weird. Andrew D still hunting. Still looking for a way back onto the podium. And Rene Ermer has been all over the back end at Magic Kashchuk for what feels like laps. And he's not found his way through. So it'll be interesting to see if the race union car... Well, as I say, Kashchuk goes wide, and through goes Rene.
Oh.
A little bit of a caster's curse there. Rene Ermer, of course, had the amazing highlight of the season of taking victory at the Nordschleife. Otherwise, it's not been a super great season for him. 5th place at Oschersleben, 4th place at Watkins Glen, pair of 10s at Portimao, 4th again at Mid-Ohio, 7th at Mid-Ohio. That win at Nordschleife really stands out for him. And, of course, that being worth the most points does make him a championship contender technically, despite the lack of supplementary podiums.
I think he can trade in a bunch of Starbucks punch cards for championship points. Is that correct?
No, that is not correct.
What?
This series is not sponsored by Starbucks. If Starbucks would like to sponsor us, we would happily allow their punch cards to be used for points.
Fair enough.
Does that sound any different out of just pure curiosity?
What?
Does my microphone sound any different out of pure curiosity?
Different than what?
Different than before. I just shifted the microphone shield into like a more box-like formation.
Maybe. I hadn't really noticed the change, so probably
All
not.
right. It takes up less room now, so I mean, I will if it didn't make it sound any worse, I'll keep it.
Fair enough. Welcome to the Audio Technical Podcast. I will be your host. It will only last for another 33 minutes and 18 seconds.
Well, there'll be a little longer than that. We'll have our post race talk. And
nope.
Championship
Ending
run
it as soon as the race is over. Maybe.
Ball Steve pulling away again. That gap is up to almost 14 seconds. Barrier's got a little bit of breathing room to Tobias Thierolf, and then this man, Andrew D. Max Simmons is kind of lonely in 5th. Martin Emmons is kind of lonely in 6th. Rene Armour is pulling away from Kaschuk. Then it's Passe, Vega, and Jerome. I think Andrew D is going to get the job done here, Byron. He is getting very close to Tobias Thierolf. It makes me think that this is in the cards as they catch up to. Like I said, that would be Barrier up ahead.
Are you asking me if Andrew could deliver?
Yes.
Maybe.
Does he deliver in 20 minutes or less? Because I mean, that's the question. Going back to our pizza deliveries.
That would be the question.
Both of them are catching Barrier. Both of them have fresher tires than Barrier, too. So, this will be interesting.
That would be the Barrier to entry.
Big spin for Josiah Jerome. His day has not been good. Word.
Could be worse. He could be on fire.
He's been remarkably not involved in the Super Series this season. He showed up early, picked up a 12th at Oschersleben, and then DNF Watkins Glen. Hasn't been back since. This is his first race since those opening 2 rounds. And I don't think this car suits him because. I mean, what kind of series have we ever seen where Josiah Jerome participates in 3 races and does not get into the top 10 at any point?
I believe there was that time that we made him drive.
Big slapper from Tobias.
Yeah.
And that is going to cost him 3rd place, at least for the time being, but it looks like the car will be okay. We'll see if he can join ahead of Max Simmons or not. There he is. Throwing a little bit of a 180 there to try to get back to the track. He does rejoin ahead of Max Simmons. There is the battle for 4th place. Max versus Tobias. Classic battle. We've seen these two go head-to-head many times. Max Simmons. The pressure is on. Oh, come on! We joined Rene Armour here instead of watching a fantastic side-by-side battle into the early part of the lap. There we go. They're all still hanging on. Used to seeing these two battle for 1st place. It's a bit weird to see them battling for 4th.
I'm used to seeing Max Simmons battle it out with a hamster.
Do you now?
Giant space hamster.
Seems like an unfortunate way to do things.
Dun, 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 dun. Whoa, sports.
They've been having a little bit of bottoming out here.
Might I recommend, I don't know, suspension and stuff.
That would be an idea. So we got a good battle for 4th place going on between Simmons and Thierolf. Still 2nd place up for grabs between Barrier and D. They're about 3 seconds apart. Irmer is getting closer and closer to Martin Edmonds, so we might see a showdown there. Kaschuk and Passe might go to war over 8th place. So there's a lot still to be decided. Although, it has to be said, Sambala Steve has been really in control of this race. Outside, leading every lap but one. And kind of dominant. Might have been 2 laps that Simmons led, actually. Rene Irmer getting closer and closer to Martin Edmonds. That is now a gap of under a second. Between the Dane and the Canadian.
I see with all of these red, or all of these green boxes here that no one's bothered to pit. What a bunch of losers.
They've all pitted.
Wrong. They just want you to think that. That's what the
They've done a
government wants you to
fantastic job of
believe.
faking their way to that.
They just bribed Martin to change the colors, that's all.
Martin can be bribed. He's particularly susceptible to poutine.
Correct. And whiskey.
And extra tires to make his car actually, not kill them. On board with Rene Irmer. Nothing doing this time. Edmonds v. Irmer, Tugas v. ESR. Battle for 6th place. Max Simmons picking up a slowdown penalty.
Winner gets the firstborn child of the other people.
That seems a little extreme.
Well, I don't know. Depends. Depends on the kid. You just always grind them up to make sausage.
Still hunting Martin Edmonds, looking for that 6th place. Laissez Passer is catching Magic Kaschuk, battle for 8th. Should see that begin in earnest in maybe a lap or so. Josiah Jerome, stop violating the track limit. Continuing to abuse track limits.
That might be why he's so slow.
I like that as soon as I was
Enforced
getting on, he gets slow down penalty for track limits, and then it just changes over to continuing to abuse track limits.
Dang.
That's some good timing. Oh, another one. Come on, man. Come on, Josiah. We believe in you. Multi-time Academy champion, Josiah Jerome. Multi-time ESR race winner. Get your head in the game. It's a man who won races while his laptop was literally falling apart. Rene Ermer looks to the outside in turn 1. And the camera is like, nope, we're not going to watch that. Laissez Passer now within striking distance of Magic Kaszczuk for 8th place. And Rene Ermer within striking distance of Kaszczuk's teammate Martin Edmonds for 6th place. So the Canadian Pole 2.0 team is under assault.
But no pepper.
I mean, there might be pepper. I think Ermer pulled out of the slipstream there too early. I think that's actually going to give Martin enough to get a little gap towards turn 1 and retain this position again. Mind you, with still more than 20 minutes to go.
That shambling Steve guy, he's kind of
a big deal. He's doing a really solid job today. He's been a promising driver before, obviously. Like, this is not his first time being a front runner. This is the first time I think we've seen him just go out there and be like, this is my race. You can't have it. I'm not going to call this performance stop million, but it's not far off.
It's pretty good.
Maybe akin to like Max Simmons's particularly good performances, or like a Tobias Thierolf victory as well, where it's just very, very well in hand, to the point where I don't even remember what livery he's running. We've seen so little of his car. I think it's black and white, but that's all I remember. Laissez Passer getting into it with Magic Kaszczuk. Kaszczuk is a truculent defender. See if he can hang on.
Truculent, but they're driving cars.
Martin Edmonds up ahead, hanging on against Rene Ermer. So we got two excellent battles going on here, with 6th place and 8th place on the line. Martin and Rene are both championship contenders. So who comes out with 6th place could be very important come the end of the season.
Because if you're not on top, you are sent to Gulag.
If you're not on top, you're in guard position, and guard position is just not a good place to be.
Wow.
Unless you're Shinya Aoki or Imanari, in which case, when are you not in guard position?
Start out upside down on the shoulders.
Or Mike Musumeci.
Or the Great Khali.
Oh, here we go! Rene in the inside. Edmonds want the inside to the next turn, though. Can he make it work? Side by side. Edmonds has the inside line, but he is behind. Looks like he got a little bit of a wiggle there. Still hanging in there, though. Still side by side. Can we get back the camera on there, please? I appreciate that Magic Kashyuk and Laissez Passer are going to war here over 8th place. And it looks like Irmer got 6th. But we could have seen Irmer complete that overtake instead of this battle. To the inside again. So Edmonds relegated to 7th. So Passer or Kashyuk, who's going to come out with this 8th place seems to be the biggest question being asked right now. Passer around the outside. Won't get it done there. Kashyuk defends the inside. Should be fine. Kashyuk and Passer side by side. Kashyuk's got the inside. But Passer has got him easily. Wow. I did not expect that to... Oh, okay, never mind. Kashyuk going up on the inside being like, how dare you, Mike? How dare you say that he's got me?
Deploy the Caltrops and the oil slick.
Looks like Passer has come out with the battle there. And 8th place has gone to him. Edmonds being left behind by Irmer. So it looks like that battle is more or less done. Theorolf is pulled out to about a 1.5 seconds ahead of Simmons. He's got a decent gap. Andrew D. running in third place. Be nice to see him get his first podium of the season.
Well, if he was to crash now, maybe he would go a bit demented.
Ooh. Don't tempt the fates. He had technical failures at both races at Mid Ohio.
His connection may become desynced.
When he was looking quite good, especially in race 1. So Sambala Steve hangs on to win this race here for another 12 more minutes. He will join Tobias Thierolf, Rene Ermer, Max Simmons, and that's it. He will become the 4th different winner this season. And I believe we're at 8 races.
But what if he was able to drive so fast he tore the fabric of time and space?
Oh
wait, we've seen that in previous. Yeah, it doesn't go up.
We have seen that in previous iterations of ESR races. I saw M. Stockmill on a multi-driver race I'm doing on the entry list, and I'm like, oh Lord, is it? And then I clicked on it. It was Martin Stockmill. Like, damn it. So I'm like, not the legend himself.
It's probably his brother.
Brother or like a cousin or something.
Smurf account.
Smurf account, could be. Be doing 90 minutes at as a 2-man team at Nürburgring for set of course a Competizione. We will be racing the Ferrari 488 Evo.
The winner gets a free Pelican.
Myself and my New Zealand counterpart Eric James.
Very nice.
I get to be the be the young man on the team because Eric is old enough to be my father.
Nah.
D running in 3rd place. But he's only a second behind Bertrand Barrier, so he's putting a little pressure on towards the end here. See if he can get the job done. Does have, in theory, the fresher tires of the two. Kashuk has come back at Laissez-Passer, which I'm a little bit surprised by, because Passer just seemed to be going way quicker than him on the catch and pass. But he has not been able to drop him at all. Less than a half second between the two.
Well, I believe that's because of the use of the tractor beam.
Could be. Whereas, for example, Rene Ermer caught and passed Martin Edmonds and has now pulled out 4 seconds on him. Passe's has not even been able to get up to 1 second. And looks like Barrier maybe turned on the afterburners this lap and has pulled that back up to over a second. Kazchuk still looking for a move.
Knight to kings, bishop 3.
Looks the inside, but cannot make it stick. There you go, Byron. What piece are you on the ESR chess set?
I am the white squares.
Max Simmons back on the pressure against Thierolf. It looked like Thierolf had gotten away from him. But, Simmons is not done with him yet. FedEx versus Castrol. So 8th place and 4th place still very much up for grabs. Everything else feels a little decided, barring major mistakes.
And corporal mistakes as well.
And colonel mistakes. And captain mistakes.
For real.
Sergeant mistakes.
We've established a joke.
I didn't think it was a very good joke. That's why I'm beating it into the ground.
Well, it's not going to stop me.
I didn't think it would.
I'll just stick to my own private mistakes.
You could say it's a general mistake.
You would say that. Hurtful.
Simmons putting the pressure on Thierolf. Him and Kazchuk are the hunters right now. Sambal Steve's lead has grown to 23 seconds. It is the largest it has been.
That shambling Steve kid, he's kind of okay at driving the car.
Very quick. Very rapid. Simmons running in 5th place. A little bit of sparks there.
He's obviously just sandbagging until the last 2.5 minutes, and then he's just going to make a run up all the way to the front.
Well, I doubt that. He might get Tobias Thierolf, but I think that is the high water mark for him right now. Max, of course, winner at Mid-Ohio last time out. Also had a podium at Nordschleife earlier this season. But it's otherwise been a bit of a season to forget for the young prospect. A rising star in the ESR ranks.
Well, I mean, all you have to do is get that kid a couple of Zondas and a Koenigsegg and duct tape them together, and he'll win, no problem.
Well, a Koenigsegg or a Zonda would definitely win against these particular cars. Magic Kazchuk tucked up behind Laissez-Passer. Is he a laissez defender as well? We'll find out. Hangs on for the time being. Where was this speed, Magic? Because I honestly thought that Passe would catch him, would overtake him, and then would disappear down the road. And it's just not happened. It's like getting overtaken has inspired Magic to drive faster.
The fastest that there has ever been. Is it true that if you drive on the green stuff, your car will explode?
No.
Why not?
It will generally slow it down though, because there is like no grip on that green stuff. You will probably spin.
Fair enough.
Magic Kazchuk and Laissez-Passer heading into probably the second last lap. Just trying to extrapolate where Sambala Steve is on the track. Probably get to lap 56, or lap 57, I should say. Maybe not, because he actually just went over the line, so it looks like we're only going to get 56 laps here. We'll find out.
One took over the line, do.
Kazchuk looking to the inside for a moment there, but I think really that was a mistake. He just kind of drifted out wide. Andrew D has got it down to less than a second to Bertrand Barrier, but I don't... He's going to need Barrier to make a mistake or to have a fuel calculation error or something of that ilk. We'll see. Max Simmons putting the pressure on. That will end Magic Kazchuk's hunt for 8th place. Looks like he had a bit of a spin of some kind, and Javier Vega is also off. Checkered flag is out. Sambala Steve is your winner. Bertrand Barrier and Andrew D following Javier Vega over the line. Second and third place for them. First podium of the season for D. A return to the podium for Barrier, who was last on the podium at Portimao, as well as at Oschersleben. Max Simmons bringing it home in 5th place. And we follow Rene Ermer as he approaches the line. There's Martin Edmonds. You know, Martin, for all that complaints about this track, 7th place, not bad.
And no major mishaps that I saw.
We did see him spin once, but I think that the number of cars we didn't see spin is pretty limited. I feel like Sambala, Steve, Barrier, and D. That's probably about it. And Steve, your winner. Barrier second. D, Theorolf, Simmons, Ermer, Edmonds, Passe, Kaschuk, Vega, and Jerome getting to the finish. Lost Andreasen, Barker, and Butler on the way. Championship standings. Tobias Theorolf has 141 points. I assume he's champion, but they're doing this weird variable point system this season, so I don't entirely know. Rene,
You get 1/8 of a point for every odd
but
number
he is like
you place.
45 points ahead of Rene Ermer, so I assume he's got this in the bag. Rene Ermer in second, Martin Edmonds third, Max Simmons, Bertrand Barrier, Henrik Andreasen, Roman Barthez, who was not here today, Andrew D, Javier Vega, and Magic Kaschuk, your top 10. And in the team's championship, it is Tugas Racing number 1, who has easily won, I think. They have 258 points. Second place has 161.5 points. So I think that is over. That is Theorolf, Andreasen, and Ermer, your champions. Canadian Pole 2.2 in second place. Martin Edmonds, Magic Kaschuk, Andrew D, 161.5. 131.5 for Orange Overclock Racing. That is Mauricio Delgado, James Butler, and Max Simmons. And rounding off the top 5, we have La Diversitad Racing. That is Josiah Jerome, Bertrand Barrier, and Adam Komorowski. And Esports Racing Argentina number 1. That is Luciano Achazo, Mateus Gonzalez, and Roman Barthez. Although it should be mentioned, they are the only Esports Racing Argentina team today. So the number 1 is a little bit redundant for this particular series. Byron, do you have any final thoughts as we head to the Netherlands for the finale?
Go read a book.